Hey, this is Ross Harrison with Precision Health and Fitness. And today I'm back with another video with my exercising at home and showing you some different exercises I've come up with over my career. I'm going to go over two today. These are both abs. This is a continuation of the last video, part one, about my advanced core exercises. So if you haven't already watched it, I definitely recommend watching part one because it'll give you a little more information about what I mean by advanced core exercises, because really they're exercises anybody can do. They're more advanced in terms of the challenge and difficulty in doing them correctly and some of the neuromuscular training that happens with them. But they are designed for anybody to do. They scale very well. It's just you'll do them differently based on your ability level. So last time I did a lower ab exercise. Today I'm going to show you an oblique exercise and a more upper ab rectus exercise. So the first one is, I'm like, I changed the names on these over the years, but I will say that this originally, I occasionally do things like random boot camp thing here or there, different things just to get ideas on what other people are doing, and honestly most of the stuff is pretty terrible for your body, but every once in a while I see something where it's like, oh, I could take that and make something with that. And sometimes I don't even realize I usually end up playing around and modifying things while I'm trying out some new stuff, and this is an exercise that came out of that. So it's I think I generally call it something like a prone or a plank uh, oblique side bend. But really, maybe I'll show you the exercise it came from first because that might make more sense. But I think it was something like you were in a plank position, and then you like pull your knees up really quick, sort of like a one-leg mountain climber kind of thing. Basically works your hip flexors, and usually people can injure their back and all kinds of other stuff. Terrible exercise, but when you modify it, it turns into a great oblique exercise that works it in a way that's different than almost any other exercise. So again, if you're just starting, just do it from your knees. Just have both knees on the ground, and really only one leg's going to work. And as long as your leg's back, you're going to be fine. If that's really easy, just go to a real plank position. But I won't go into planks too much. But this is not a plank. I mean, it is, but it's terrible. It's if your back's not flat and you don't feel your abs engaged, just go to your knees. You'll get more out of it for what you're really trying to work, and it will be way healthier for your body. So I'm actually going to demonstrate just the knee one because it's okay. In general, these movements are tough to do anyway, so trying to challenge yourself as much as possible muscularly before getting the right field of movement, it's not worth it. Just go with the easy one, get the movement, and then you can go to the more advanced one. So I'm going to start with really just show the easy one. From the knees, just extend one leg back, and essentially the leg's going to come out and come up to about here. And I'll show it from a few different angles because it's sort of weird. So start out, and I come up and about here. And if this isn't, I'm not bending my knee, I'm not pulling with my hip flexor, the oblique is doing the work. So from this position, and it's sort of, there's the legs coming out, but there is a side bend, but it's also not like kicking my leg out to the side, there's none of that. It's just a really slow, controlled contraction. And by the time you get there, even though it may not look like there's a lot of movement, this part of your abs are working pretty intensely, even with no weight, even from your knees. Moving up to more like just a full plank, doing the same thing. Yeah, it's the same exact movement. The feel here is pretty similar. You just get more work in other areas with it. But really, and again, one of the things I love about these exercises, when you do it right, you know it. And if you don't get a good contraction here, you're not there yet. And sometimes you can't be there. It's not a matter of like trying to use the right muscle. Sometimes your brain has to really kick in. So big things, if you feel other things, quads, hips, other parts of your body working, that's what this exercise does. It teaches those muscles how to turn off so you can really isolate other parts of your body. And I'm not sure the best angle to show this, but there is no right motion. Like, if you need your leg to come more this way, and if you end up doing a little side thing, okay, that's fine. It's good to start. It can get you the feel of this, but it really is more. It's a combined motion of the leg is slightly going out to the side, and there's also some side bend. And all I can say is, and from clients over the years, like, this is an exercise I never thought was going to be a regular part of something I taught clients, but it's one of those great exercises because when you do it right, you know it. There's no question. It's not, oh, I sort of feel something. You feel it. Even, like, no matter how advanced you are, when you have good muscle control and contract your obliques well without momentum, without other exercises, it works great. And you don't have to do 15. Like, if you do 50 of these, again, it's not good. It's, 10, maybe 15 on the high end. If they're really good, by that point your muscle will be so tense you won't want to contract anymore. So that's the first one. Obviously do it on both sides. If your form's a little different on both sides, that's okay. As long as you're getting the right feel and the other muscle, the muscles you don't want to work or relax, that's really the goal here. Okay, this next one, I call this an arc crunch. And it's, again, something I was playing with because I find a lot of, especially the upper ab crunch kind of things, a lot of the exercises people teach don't teach you control. They just teach contract, relax, contract, relax. But your core doesn't work that way. Your core has to stabilize and contract against things coming from all directions. It has to, like, hold stability in one point while allowing other things to rotate and bend. It does a lot more than we typically train it to do. So this is one of those exercises that trains it to work more like it normally has to and teaches different angles, different motions. And arc, because essentially you are making an arc type motion. Not that it has to be perfect, but that's the idea. So this one simply, I'll start, I tend to point to the side. And maybe for this better frame of reference, like, if this is middle, I'll aim about 45 degrees off to the side and a little bit forward. With a normal crunch, I would never do this. I usually arms are up or back, because when you go forward, it tends to involve the back. But this one, and also why it's advanced, because you need to be able to put your arms forward, but not push forward that way. This is, you're angling up like a regular sort of off to the side crunch. Arms are just there more for direction. And you move to the other side, come back down, move over, come back down. So I'll show it from the side too. Again, it's just up to one side, over, down, okay. So what you may or may not be able to see from that video, the point where my arms are going over, my abs are contracting the whole time, to the point where you actually feel the contraction starting harder on this side. As you get to the middle, it covers more, and as you get to the other side, it goes over here. It's not just everything's if everything's tense and locked down, like a lot of people do in a regular crunch, they'll just crunch up and just everything's just tense. You can't do that. You still have a very tense contraction, but you have the tension and your body can still move, which is practically how it works best. So with this exercise, as you go up, just a normal crunch to the side, you feel one side a little more. Really, the middle is sort of the peak contraction, and it may not technically happen, but the visual I have when I'm going to the middle, I'm not just sliding to the other side. I'm actually trying to go higher as I go across. The challenge being, if you push, you're going to go higher with your back. So again, like all of these I've taught, it's pay attention to how you feel. If you're doing it right, you will feel a strong contraction from the beginning. It will get stronger and it will cover a little more area, and then it will stay strong but more over to one side, and then you come down. I don't talk about breathing too much. It is important. There's so many other things to think about, but the hardest challenge with this for a lot of people is breathing, because there's not a natural, oh, breathe in, breathe out, or whatever the case may be is with most exercises, because it's really, technically it would be breathe out when you go up, breathe out as you're going to the other side, breathe in when you come down. But really, as long as you're breathing, that's pretty good with this one, because it's not a normal cadence, it's not a normal movement. It's teaching, for most people, it's teaching their body something different than they're used to feeling. Again, it's just one of those things, when people can do it well, it usually means they have pretty good core function. It's not just like training in a weight room, training to do an exercise on a bench, or training to do an exercise with a weight. It's training the core to work the way the core can work. So there's two more for you. I've got loads and loads of exercises that I'll at least show some of them. These are some of the most effective and honestly also most frustrating for some people, but once they get it, it's one of those things that it's like, oh, that one, yeah, I know how that feels, and they go back into it and they get a great workout from it. So there you go. Between the two videos, you got lower oblique and upper ab exercises that will literally last you a lifetime. The better you get with them, the more control you get over the motions, and honestly, the more intense the contractions get. So I like exercises like that. You don't have to add a ton of weight. You don't have to do crazy things or have weird positions. It's really just sort of all about the purity of gaining control and strength over your own contraction. So there you go. Take it, use it, play with it. Let me know how it goes. If anything feels weird, there's always tips, modifications, things you can try. But that's it. Take care, keep working out, and I'll be back later.